Okay. Hello. Welcome to Buzzing with Cousin Talk. I'm your host, Cousin Johnny. We have a great show planned today. But before we start, I'd like to shout out and congratulate Carmel Valley Art Association for getting their nonprofit status. Owners John and Shelley Aliotti created a gem in Carmel Valley. It's a great studio gallery, and every day they have a showing artist that's there all day working and answering questions, and then the next day they'll have another artist from that has their work in there. It's really cool, and we congratulate them. I'm just gonna tell everybody, take a little drive to Carmel Valley. Taste some Carmel Valley wine, grab some lunch, and go to Carmel Valley Art Association. Tell them Cousin sent you. Okay, let's get this show on the road. I'd like to introduce our guest. This is a lady. She's a great artist, a painter. She wrote a book. This book is getting quite a bit of momentum, 5-star rating. There's a possibility of a movie. It's called Wonders in Dementia Land. Please welcome Susan Collins, known as Suzka.
Hi, Johnny.
So, welcome to the show. How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Great. I mean, we've been talking on the phone, but now I get to see you. Great to see you.
Right. It's great to see you.
You're living in beautiful San Diego now, but you have quite a few roots in Monterey. A lot of roots. You lived in Monterey quite a long time. Maybe one day you'll come back. But you're from the Midwest. How did you end up in Monterey to begin with?
Oh, wow. I think I just got burned out. I was a cartoonist and a graphic artist in Chicago, and I just got burnt out and drove actually to LA, which is a funny story. Flew to LA, I should say, and rented a car and kept on driving until I found an apartment or a place that I could afford. And believe it or not, it was in Carmel. And
oh man, all right.
I know. I met this unbelievable, lovely couple, and they had a B&B, and they said, when I was telling them my story, they went, "Oh my God, my friend just died last night. I bet you can rent her house." I just couldn't believe she said this. So she made me and her in the middle of the night, and it was raining, to go and see this little house, and we had flashlights. The woman just died that day or whatever. And we're looking in the window, and she goes, "See, this is just going to be perfect for you." And as it turned out, she knew, of course, she knew the people. And they let me rent it for 6 months, and then I ended up staying.
Isn't that like the magic of Monterey? Somehow, some way, things just work out. I mean, through
I was
a friend
supposed to be there.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. You lived in Sand City. You had a warehouse kind of house studio warehouse combination. I went to a couple parties there, and they were great, by the way. That was a good time. And now I want to tell all the listeners out there that Suzka, when you go to the Monterey Jazz Festival, the last 20-something years,
26,
and you're sitting at 26 years, and you're sitting in the arena. They call that the Pate Arena, the main arena. The backdrop, the art on the stage is Suzka. For 26 years, she. What do you get? You used to get there, a couple of weeks before and work on it? And
Well, first
how
of
long?
all, I did all the stages. So I pretty much started in August doing all the other stages on ground. And I did the main
Oh
stage
man,
with the crew. We painted that week. So, and you remember Randy. Randy was helping me quite a bit. And
Randy,
he
yeah, he
colored,
used to. Oh gosh,
yeah.
that was
Randy
for
would
him.
come with
That
his
was
truck.
like the Super Bowl.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah, for him, it was like the Super Bowl, the Pebble Beach Food and Wine, the U.S. Open. That was he just looked forward to that every year
I
because of the.
know.
I guess you guys had a little party after,
Yeah.
and anyway, he really helped out,
He
and
was really great at
that was
putting him.
great. Yeah. Are you are you still going to be doing that? Are you planning on it,
No, I kind of,
or
I now with the book, the podcast, and it's going into being a movie, I just have to focus myself into that. Doing the jazz festival took, 2 months to really put it all together. And right now I decided it's time to move on, especially now that I'm not living in Monterey now.
yeah? No, I
My
understand.
heart is still there though.
Well, your book has got many reviews, 5-star rating, 5, 5, 5, 5, and it's a great story of a mother and a mother and a daughter, the love between a mother and a daughter, and the courage. Can you tell us about it?
Well, it's a different take on dementia. When I just moved into that warehouse in Sand City, I think I was only there about a year, maybe a year and a half, and my mother got dementia, so I flew back to Chicago and ended up staying. I thought I would just go there for a couple weeks and get things in order. I ended up staying there like 3 or 4 years, and I just was kind of amazed at this whole dementia concept and this memory and how much that maybe our memory holds us back a little bit. When I first flew there, I remember walking in the door, and I'm flying from California where I'm nice and warm, and I go into a snowstorm. And before I walked into my mother's house, I decided, I think I'm going to walk in there cold. Like, by cold, I mean I'm going to drop my memory. I'm going to drop my mother being my mother. I'm going to drop me being a daughter and what that means, and walk in there fresh and clean. And there was something about it. I saw her for the first time. I had no issues to deal with her. So I was looking at her with different eyes. It changed her. It changed me. And I ended up seeing something wonderful. So in a way, there's something about dementia that I'm not making it frivolous or light, but there's something there that's very special that I think that's almost a gift.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why I ended up writing the book.
Yeah. Can you tell us a couple things about the book, or kind of things that that with your mom that you did, or things?
Well, one of the things that was interesting that I put in the book that was really important was I remember having someone come and visit my mom. And when she walked into the house, she walked to my mother, and now we were all laughing and carrying on, and everything was rather light until this woman walked in the door. And she walked in and came to my mom and bent over and said, "Violet, how are you? I'm so sorry." And she treated my mother like if she was pathetic, like something was wrong and bad. My mother's whole attitude kind of changed. The shoulders went down. Her eyes went down. Her head started to slow. And she carried that. And that's when I realized, when you walk into a room, what you bring with you makes the whole big difference. So I went and bought these large balloons, and they were balloons of fanciful characters like Dory and SpongeBob and all these other characters. And they were all huge. And I had them go from the front door to where my mother was sitting. Well, when people walked in to visit, and all the balloons, by the way, were elevated just where a person had to raise their head to look up to look at the whole character. By the time they got to my mother, their expression was just fanciful. And here my mother's sitting there, and she had two great big smiley balloons on each side. And it changed everything. It changed the whole attitude of the room. And those balloons got to be characters. And from the first time I bought the first balloon, she must have had about, I think at the most we had 10 or 11, 12 balloons in that room right with her. And it just changed everything. And I talk about that in the book a lot. And of course, in the podcast, they have voices, so they come alive. Now, in the book, they're particular characters. Now, for the movie, when I was talking with my producer and we were writing back and forth, he says, no, you can't use that just for legal reasons. So I created an entire character set of balloons that all have to do with dementia, like Louis and Al for Alzheimer's. And they all take a particular phase of dementia. So that's going to be kind of bizarre in the movie also, but it's in the podcast quite a bit, and you could see them in the podcast.
Now, in that, now when your relationship with your mom was more like friends, like how did it?
I can't even say it's beyond. It's more than friends. It's just equals. It's just I saw her as a person for the first time. She didn't have that motherhood about her. And I didn't have to have the daughterhood with all the responsibilities of that.
Yeah.
And there's something about that that's just kind of wonderful. It's just amazing. So it was just all brand new.
Now the next day, was it like starting over again?
Because you're not, when you say starting over, you mean starting over from a point. There was no point to start off with.
Oh, yeah.
First of all, what the big thing is, and everybody would always ask, oh my God, does she know who you are? Well, of course she knows who I am. She might not know I'm a daughter. She might not know, but she knew the connection. She knew the connection because we were on level terms. When I walked in a room, she felt it. Everybody feels that. It's just maybe, so what if she doesn't remember your name? I mean, a name or your position is so unimportant. It's beyond just the skin. It's beyond just this face. It's those eyes. It's the center. It's who you are. She knew who I was.
Yeah, that's really great relationship that you had. And
we all have this. Once we drop this, the pathetic part of, oh my God, she's got dementia. And like I said, I'm not making light of it because there's other issues that come in hand.
No,
but there are certain things that you can change. You can change a lot. You can change the atmosphere. You can change the feeling. And you can also change the worry from the person who has the dementia. Can you imagine having somebody come up to you, always expecting you to act a certain way or be a certain way? I mean, I was a tomboy as a little kid, and I remember how rough it was that I just didn't look good in a dress. I just didn't look good, and because I was just kind of scrawny and bruised up, and I was a tomboy. And I knew how that looked when other parents would look at me and just, So
go ahead.
I'm aware of that.
And you decided, you know something, I'm going to write a book about this. And is that what happened? Or?
Yeah, I started taking a lot of notes, and certain other things happened to me, but I had more free time to just go ahead and just write.
Yeah.
So.
And how long did it take you to get the book done?
Well, this is another story. Because I came back from when Mom then died, and I came back home, and I ended up getting cancer, and the cancer wiped me out. I mean, that's primarily why I sold the warehouse. Was I just couldn't keep up. I couldn't even figure out how to write a check. I just couldn't. And I remember saying, okay, God, listen, if you. I don't want to lose this warehouse, but if I have to leave because I can't figure this out, I want somebody to come to the door and offer me what I want. And that's what happened. And I had a wonderful man buy the warehouse. And so I left and I moved to San Diego because my sister lives here.
Yeah.
And I slept 1 year, totally did nothing but sleep. And then the other year, then I started going to Starbucks every morning from 7 to noon.
Yeah.
And I'd go and I'd write.
Wow.
And I didn't care if I sat there and did nothing, because sometimes I would sit there and then that last 15 minutes, oh my God, writing was brilliant.
Yeah.
So I did that for almost 2 years until I got the book done.
And then
I got me in a routine, and I needed to get back into a routine of I did this, I did this, I did this. So
first, I like to say, congratulations on surviving the survival. I mean, that's
great. It's life. We all have things we're surviving all the time, and it's what it was. I think the only thing I feel bad about is really losing the warehouse, but then I think of the warehouse and I think of what it got me. It got me the book, the podcast, the movie, because I don't think that would have happened there, especially the movie connection, because I ended up finding connections here who I fell into that.
Yeah. And Starbucks from 7 to noon. That's it.
That was it.
And then you decided to do the podcast. How did that happen?
Well, the next thing really was the book was finished, and a friend of mine said, "Let's go to I want you to go to the American Film Market with me." And the American Film Market is a huge international event, and producers, directors, and distributors of film all meet, and it's where they do business. It's where they network. It's where they find out what's coming out and what's information. So I said, okay. And one of the days of that event was a pitch day, they call it. And it's a pitch for writers to pitch their book into a movie.
Yeah.
So what you had to do is you had to submit this little video clip and telling them in 3 minutes why you think this could be a good book to movie. So I did it right here in my studio. Did it very unprofessionally. It was but I just told them my story. Well, they accepted 8 people to tell their pitch, and I was one of them. And I was like,
"Oh, great!
That was bizarre." So here it is in this room with a lot of producers and directors. I mean, thousands. Yeah. And I went, "Oh my God!" But I pitched my book to a panel of the top guys in the industry. And at the end of it, I had 3 producers who came up to me, and one of them he was just perfect. He said, "Let me have the book." And so anyway, I had one in my backpack, and I gave him the book. He says, "Let's meet the next morning." The next morning when we met, he had Post-its throughout the entire book. He read that book from beginning to end.
Wow.
Which right then and there, I knew he was perfect. He doesn't, and we get along quite well. He doesn't want to make it any love story, or it's not a romantic story between a man and a woman coming in, and there's no gun shooting, and there's no, it's just the basic.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
And that's what I'm thrilled about. And matter of fact, he said you have to be a part of the script writing also. So I went to Berlin twice and all of January, and then for a whole month. So, and all we did was write. And we did get one grant from the German government, and we're probably going to get another grant also. The German government they're very much involved in film and the industry and helping artists and supporting artists, I should say. So that's where we are now. And we're going to have the trailer done for the movie. And the trailer's going to be on one particular scene, and it's called, in the book and in the podcast, it's the sundowning gypsy scene, which is really going to be a good one.
Yeah.
And they're going to make the trailer that particular scene. And the point is they're going to present it to I think it's called the Berlin Biennial Film Festival in February, which is another big international event. Whether it's going to be Zoomed or not, that trailer will probably be shown. And the point being is that we will get other producers on board. Producers, there's never one producer for a movie. So we need the finances, and we also want a producer from Hollywood and maybe one from Chicago, because we will be filming in 3 places, in Germany, in Chicago, and in LA probably.
Sounds like you're going to be busy.
Yeah. So in the meantime, I've been doing the podcast just to also kind of go along with the thing, and hopefully I'll have an audiobook done, because I think someone says, well, why don't you just put all these podcasts together to make one audiobook? Yeah. So I think I will have that done hopefully by Christmas, if not right after Christmas.
Yeah, that would be great. Now, the podcast, how do our listeners how do they find it?
Well, it's under Dementia Land, and that's one word. On YouTube, it is the podcast with visuals. On iTunes and all the other kind of platforms, it's just the audio, which is interesting in itself. It has sounds.
I got the I did it. I Googled it. I don't know. Somehow I got it, and I think it was YouTube, and it was all audio. But being
YouTube has the visuals.
Yeah. But in a way, I'm glad I got the audio, because I'm old school, and I used to listen to sporting events on radio, and different events on radio, and you really use your imagination.
Isn't it exciting?
On your podcast, you have different titles.
Yeah.
And I can't remember which one. I think I did 3. I'm going to do more later. But your voice and your descriptions, just I want the listeners to know that you get drawn into this scene of something simple as a crumbled piece of paper on the floor. You make it sound like I could picture that crumbled. Well, they were pretzels, I think.
Yeah,
bag of pretzels crumbled in a corner of a cupboard, and I was just picturing that bag, and then you threw your sweater down, and you opened the refrigerator and you grabbed a beer, and I could just picture that, just kind of, oh God, I just need a beer. You know what I mean? And it was so. I really suggest that everybody, check those podcasts out. It's just so interesting. And you could just pick and choose 1 or 2 subjects. It's not, you don't have to do the whole thing. And they're anywhere from 3 minutes to 15, I think.
Yeah, this is what the podcasts generally are. I try and keep them under 10 minutes. Yeah, most of them. I have a little on Instagram that's only the 3-minute or the 1-minute ones, but I try and keep it to 10 minutes, because that's about how much time we got sometimes, unless we're actually going to listen to the whole book.
No,
I'm going to do the whole book.
10 is great, because someone could just put away 10 minutes and just
exactly.
You got 11, 12. Then it goes into looking at the clock. I gotta go, or what I'm saying. Yeah. But this is really great, and I wish you all the luck on that. And you're really an inspiration to us.
Oh, thank you.
A cancer survivor, and your relationship between a mother and a daughter, and even though it was different, it was still good. It was good.
Well, there's also just that relationship between us and our parents.
Yeah,
that changes, and it's just there's something there. So it's kind of for everyone. It's not necessarily totally for dementia.
Yeah,
people with Dementia Land.
You can, yeah.
So,
but I just encourage everybody to go out and go on Amazon and pick up the book. I got my copy here. When I see you, maybe in San Diego, I want you to sign it for me.
I will.
And I want to encourage everybody to listen to the podcast. Suzka, anytime you have any information, I'm on Buzzing with Cousin. Just feel free to just don't even ask any questions. Just go ahead and post. And we're going to let you go. And do you have anything else you want to add or anything to?
No, I miss Monterey. I miss Sand City. My heart is there.
Yeah.
But my project is here right now.
Yeah, we miss you. And,
I miss you.
like you said, we're, wherever it takes you, it could end up taking you back to Monterey.
I could see myself back in Sand City, to tell you the truth.
Back in Sand City, yeah. Okay, well, we're going to let you go, and I really appreciate you coming on and Buzzing with Cousin.
Hey,
so take care.
Johnny.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
That was great. Suzka. Wonders in Dementia Land. Great book. We thank everybody for coming on today and watching this show. Tell your friends to watch the replay, because not everybody's, guys are working or they're running around. So everybody, tell your friends to watch the replay. And I thank you for Buzzing with Cousin. And next show will be a week from today, the 24th. It's going to be a Tuesday on the 24th with a special guest, Dion Ibarra from the Wahimi Project, a great nonprofit organization. Okay, everybody have a great day. Be safe. And once again, thanks for Buzzing with Cousin. Bye.